Huh?
Someone didn't text back. That's it. That's the whole event. A message sent, no reply received, and somewhere inside your chest, something tightens. Your stomach shifts. Your thoughts begin to circle. You find yourself reading back through what you wrote, looking for the thing you did wrong. You feel unmistakably bad, not metaphorically bad, physically bad, and you probably told yourself to stop being ridiculous. It's just a text. It doesn't matter. Get over it. But here's what you didn't know. Your brain was not being ridiculous. Your brain was responding to one of the oldest threats in its threat library, and it was responding the same way it responds to physical pain. Because to your brain, social rejection and physical pain are not two different categories of experience. They are the same category. This is the belonging effect. And once you understand it, you will never think about your need to belong the same way again. In 2003, psychologist Naomi Eisenberger ran an experiment at UCLA that changed the way neuroscientists think about social pain. She placed participants inside a brain scanner and had them play a simple online ball-tossing game called Cyberball with what they believed were two other players. Partway through the game, the other players stopped throwing the ball to the participant. They simply excluded them. No explanation, no conflict, just silence and exclusion. The brain scans showed something that stopped the research team. The region of the brain that activated when participants were socially excluded, the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex and the anterior insula, was the exact same region that activates when someone experiences physical pain. Not a similar region, not a neighboring region. The same region responding with the same intensity to being left out of a ball-tossing game. Eisenberger called this the neural overlap between social and physical pain, and its implications reach far back into evolutionary history. Your brain does not treat social rejection as a minor inconvenience because, for most of human evolutionary history, social rejection was not a minor inconvenience. It was a death sentence. Consider the environment your brain was built for. A small group of 25 to 150 individuals living in constant proximity, dependent on cooperation for survival. In that environment, being excluded from the group meant losing access to food sharing, to protection from predators, to warmth, to childcare, to everything that kept you alive. The lone human on the open savanna was not an independent individual. The lone human on the open savanna was a very small, very slow, very vulnerable creature in a world full of things that wanted to eat it. Being excluded killed you. Not eventually, not probably, quickly. So your brain developed a system to prevent exclusion from ever happening. And like all the best survival systems, it made preventing exclusion feel urgent by making its threat feel painful. Not symbolically painful, actually painful. Using the same neural infrastructure that processes a broken bone or a burn. This is why the pain of rejection does not feel proportional to the event. It is not supposed to feel proportional to the event. It is supposed to feel like what it actually is, a signal that something critical to your survival is at risk. Psychologist Roy Baumeister, who has spent decades studying the need to belong, proposed what he called the belongingness hypothesis, the idea that humans have a fundamental, evolved need to form and maintain a minimum number of lasting, positive, significant relationships, not a preference for connection, not a social nicety. A need as basic and as urgent as the need for food or water that drives behavior, shapes emotion, and affects physical health when it goes unmet. The research supporting this is extensive and striking. People with stronger social bonds live longer. People who are chronically socially isolated show measurably elevated cortisol, disrupted sleep, impaired immune function, and accelerated cognitive decline. Loneliness, multiple large-scale studies have found, is as damaging to long-term physical health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. This is not a metaphor. This is biology. Your body knows when it is disconnected from the group, and it responds with the same stress cascade it would produce if you were physically threatened. Now consider what happens inside the brain during rejection. Researcher Ethan Cross at the University of Michigan conducted a study in which participants who had recently experienced a romantic breakup were placed in brain scanners and shown photographs of their former partners while they focused on their feelings of rejection. The brain activation patterns that appeared were indistinguishable from the patterns produced by physical pain stimuli applied to the same participants. The same regions, the same intensity, the same neural signature. The pain of heartbreak is not emotional pain that feels like physical pain. It is physical pain. Processed by the same systems, using the same pathways, demanding the same kind of recovery that a physical injury demands. This explains something that most people have noticed, but few have understood. Why, when you are in the middle of rejection, you cannot simply decide to feel better. You are not dealing with a thought pattern you can choose to change. You are dealing with a pain response, a biological alarm system that has been activated and that requires the same kind of processing and recovery that any pain signal requires. It also explains why social medications work. Researchers have found that acetaminophen, paracetamol, reduces the neural response to social rejection in the same way it reduces the response to physical pain. The overlap is pharmacological as well as neural. The brain's pain system and the brain's social rejection system share not just neural real estate, but neurochemistry. There is a deeper layer still. The need to belong did not just protect your ancestors from predators. It structured everything. Cooperation built shelter. Cooperation enabled hunting prey that a single human could never take down alone. Cooperation shared knowledge about which plants were poisonous, which paths were dangerous, which seasons brought abundance. The group was not just a safety net, the group was the technology, and maintaining your position within that technology required continuous social monitoring. Your brain evolved dedicated machinery for tracking your status within the group, for reading faces and tones and micro-expressions, for detecting the early signals of cooling relationships before they became exclusion. The social anxiety you feel when you sense someone's warmth toward you shifting, that prickling awareness, that scanning for confirmation, is not neurosis. It is an ancient threat detection system running a continuous audit of your social standing. When that system detects a threat, it does what all threat detection systems do. It generates a signal powerful enough to demand attention and behavioral change. It generates pain. But here is what most conversations about rejection never get to. The belonging system is not just a warning system. It is also a recovery system. The same neural infrastructure that makes rejection painful also makes reconnection pleasurable. Measurably, biochemically pleasurable. The brain's reward circuitry, the dopamine and oxytocin systems that respond to food, to warmth, to safety, respond with the same intensity to genuine social connection. This is why a conversation with someone who genuinely listens to you can shift your entire emotional state. This is why being truly seen by another person can feel like relief at a level that seems out of proportion to what happened. It is not out of proportion. The relief is physiological. The reward is real. Your nervous system has been given something it was calibrated across millions of years to need. Psychologist John Cacioppo, who spent his career studying the biology of loneliness, found that the health benefits of social connection are not gradual or cumulative. They are immediate. A single, meaningful interaction can measurably reduce cortisol, lower blood pressure, and shift immune markers within hours. The body responds to belonging the way it responds to medicine. Because it is medicine, the oldest medicine your species has ever had. So the next time someone doesn't text back, the next time you are left out of a conversation, the next time you walk into a room and feel invisible, the next time your stomach drops because someone's tone toward you has changed in a way you cannot quite name. Do not tell yourself you are being ridiculous. What you are feeling is not an overreaction. It is a precisely calibrated response from a system that has been keeping your species alive for 2 million years. It is your brain doing its most important job. It is the belonging effect, running exactly as designed in a world that has changed around it, but has not yet given it a better way to measure what it has always needed most. You need to belong the way you need to breathe. And every time it hurts, that's not weakness. That's the oldest proof that you were never meant to be alone.
See you next time!